Half of the moon is always bathed in brilliant sunlight. And yet, for half of every month, we see just a sliver of it, or sometimes, nothing at all. For centuries, we've been told the idea that the moon affects our minds and bodies is just folklore. The word lunacy even comes from Luna, the Roman goddess of the moon, because ancient philosophers were convinced it could drive people mad. But what if there's a real, scientific reason this celestial clock seems to secretly influence our lives? The truth is, we are tied to the moon in some undeniable ways. To understand how, we first need to get why it appears to change shape in the first place. It's a cosmic dance of light and shadow, and once you see how it works, we can start to unpack the more controversial, and far more personal, ways this cycle might influence everything from our sleep to our goals. The clockwork of the cosmos. Let's start with the beautiful mechanics of it all. The moon doesn't make its own light, the glow we see is just sunlight reflecting off its surface. And just like Earth, about half of the moon is always lit up by the sun. The phases we see aren't the moon actually changing. They're just our changing view of that sunlit half as the moon makes its 29.5-day trip around our planet. Imagine you're standing in a dark room. Your head is the Earth. Across the room, a big lamp is the sun. Now, a friend holding a white ball, that's the moon, starts walking in a circle around you. When the ball is roughly between you and the lamp, the side facing you is in shadow. You can't see it. This is the new moon. As your friend keeps walking, you start to see a tiny sliver of that lit up side. This is the waxing crescent. Waxing simply means the light is growing. When your friend is a quarter of the way around you, you see exactly half of the lit side. We call this the first quarter. As the orbit continues, it becomes a waxing gibbous, that bright, almost full phase. Then comes the main event. Your friend is now on the opposite side of the room, with you in between them and the lamp. From your spot, you see the entire sunlit face of the ball. This is the full moon. From here, it all happens in reverse. The light starts to shrink. It becomes a waning gibbous, then the third quarter moon, and finally, a sliver-like waning crescent, before vanishing back into the darkness of the new moon. It's a perfect, predictable loop. And this loop has one massive, undeniable effect on our planet: the tides. The moon's gravity pulls on Earth's oceans, creating a bulge of water. But it's not acting alone, the sun's gravity plays a role, too. As Earth rotates, these bulges move, creating the high and low tides that have shaped coastal life for all of history. This isn't a theory, it's physics. So, we have undeniable proof that the moon exerts a physical force on the entire planet. The real question is, does that force stop at the ocean? The controversial science of lunar influence. This is where things get interesting. And a lot more controversial. For as long as we have history, people have believed the moon influences more than just the oceans. Ancient cultures, from the Babylonians to indigenous American tribes, often planned their lives, and especially their farming, by the moon's phases. The folk wisdom says that as the moon waxes toward full, its gravity helps pull moisture up in the soil, helping seeds to sprout. Above-ground crops were planted during the waxing moon, and root crops during the waning moon, when the pull was thought to be weaker. While many agricultural scientists are skeptical, noting the moon's gravitational pull on soil moisture is incredibly small compared to things like rain and sun, the tradition persists among many organic farmers who swear by it. But what about us? Our bodies are about 60% water. It's a compelling thought: if the moon can move oceans, couldn't it tug on the water in our cells? While it's a poetic analogy, the science doesn't really support it. Tidal forces depend on size, and the moon's differential pull across a tiny human body is negligible, far less than the pull of a nearby building. For years, stories from ER nurses and police about chaotic full moon nights have been chalked up to confirmation bias. You expect things to be weird, so you notice more weird things. Rigorous scientific studies have repeatedly looked for connections between the full moon and crime rates, hospital admissions, or births, and they've overwhelmingly come up empty. However, the one area where science is starting to find a real, measurable link is sleep. A 2021 study in Science Advances made headlines by tracking people everywhere from remote, electricity-free communities in Argentina to college students in Seattle. Across the board, they found a pattern. In the 3 to 5 days before a full moon, people went to sleep later and slept less, on average, anywhere from 25 to 50 minutes less, and in some cases up to 90 minutes. What's wild is that this happened even for city dwellers with tons of artificial light, suggesting it's not just the moon's brightness keeping people awake. The researchers hypothesized that we might have a deep, evolutionary echo of a circulunar rhythm, but they were clear that more research is needed. Other studies have hinted at similar effects, but the results across the field are still mixed and often inconsistent. While the old myths about moon-induced madness are pretty much debunked, the question of whether the moon has a subtle effect on our biology isn't quite settled. So, what's your take on all this? Have you ever noticed your sleep or your energy levels change with the moon? Let me know your experience in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to see what patterns we can find as a community. And if you're enjoying this exploration, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more to figure out together. Personal application, running your life by the celestial clock. Okay, with the hard science and the controversial science covered, how can we actually use this? This is where we shift from observation to a more personal practice. For thousands of years, people have used the lunar cycle not just to plant crops, but to structure their lives. This isn't about astrology, it's about using the moon as a symbolic framework for psychology and intention. The lunar cycle gives us a natural, 29.5-day rhythm for setting goals, taking action, and reflecting. It's a powerful antidote to the burnout culture of a never-ending hustle. It begins with the new moon. In the darkness, the sky is like a blank slate. This is viewed as a time for new beginnings. It's a perfect moment to get quiet, find some clarity, and decide what you want to focus on for the month ahead. Many people use this time for journaling or meditating on their goals. You're planting a seed in the quiet dark. Then comes the waxing moon, the time from the new moon to the full moon. As the light grows, so does the momentum for action. This is the time to take those first, purposeful steps toward your goals. If your intention was to start a creative project, the waxing phase is when you do the research, make the outline, and begin the work. You're watering the seed you planted. Next up is the full moon. This is the cycle's peak, a time of high energy and illumination. Spiritually, this is seen as a time of culmination and celebration, when your intentions are fully lit up. It's a moment to see how far you've come. But it's also a powerful time for release. The bright light of the full moon is thought to shine a light on what's holding you back. It's a time for letting go of bad habits or negative beliefs. A common ritual is to write down what you want to release and then safely burn the paper. Finally, we have the waning moon, the period from the full moon back to darkness. As the light fades, the energy turns inward. This is a time for reflection, gratitude, and rest. You can look back on the cycle, think about the lessons learned, and give thanks for your progress. It's a time for surrender, allowing yourself to recharge before the next cycle begins. You don't have to believe in anything mystical to see the power in this. It's a structured system for mindfulness and self-reflection, all guided by the most beautiful clock in our sky. From the elegant physics of its orbit to the tantalizing hints of its influence on our sleep, the moon is so much more than a pretty light in the sky. It is a fundamental rhythm of our world. It pulls our oceans, guides ancient traditions, and just maybe subtly nudging our biology in ways modern science is only beginning to understand. And maybe most importantly, it offers us a template. A cycle of setting intentions in the dark, building with the growing light, celebrating at the peak, and reflecting as the light recedes. It's a rhythm that reminds us there's a time for action and a time for rest, a time for beginnings and a time for endings. In our fast-paced world, maybe aligning ourselves with this ancient, celestial clock isn't lunacy at all. Maybe it's the sanest thing we can do. As we continue to push back into the cosmos with programs like Artemis, which aim for sustained lunar exploration, our connection to our nearest celestial neighbor will only deepen. We're on the verge of uncovering even more of its secrets. Keep looking up.